What's good, everybody? Welcome to another Changing Times podcast. I'm your host, Mr. X. Hope everyone is doing well out there. So, as you know, this has all been about changing times. It's all about how people have been developing or how they've been adapting to the changing times. We've had some incredible guests come and give us their opinions, give us some focus and direction to the young people in case they're a bit lost during these times and stuff like that. Some encouragement. I'm going to be joined by another participant. This time it's Isaac. You may be aware that he's been involved in the Changing Times podcast from a while now and stuff like that. And he's a kind of like comedian on the up. And he's going to be joining us. But today we're going to be interviewing a gentleman who has started quite an interesting project. It's called Beats of War, and it's a comic, and it's a comic with a difference. It's he's created this character, which is the first black Scottish superhero. Yes, you heard correctly, first black Scottish superhero, and he created this literally just I think it's either during the lockdown or just before the lockdown. But without a doubt, it was kind of like put out to the public during the lockdown of this year, 2020. And it blew up. So yeah, we're going to get straight into it now. So Etienne, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you.
Jeez, what you say, my G?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm here, keeping busy. How about yourself?
I'm good, man. We got on the show as well. We got Isaac as well. Isaac, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I'm very good. How are you, brother?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm glad to have you on the show this time. It's a good one. This is a good one, you know what I mean? Because this guy, Etienne, has got a unique story. Mm-hmm. And remember, Isaac, when we did the interview before and we talked about the swimming film. Remember the swimming film that we talked about?
Yeah.
Okay, this guy's got a next interesting story similar to that. So I'm looking forward to this show. So Etienne, for the viewers out there, for the listeners out there, please tell us a bit about yourself, your upbringing, and what has kind of brought you to this point, without saying too much, basically, and making this creation of yours called Beat of Wars. So take it away.
My name is Etienne Kubwabo. I'm a film director and writer as well, and I'm also a DJ. The love of music has always followed me around. I'm originally from Democratic Republic of Congo, French-speaking country, and I moved to Scotland in 2009. And already my family was already here, so I was pretty excited to kind of just come and meet them after so many years far away from them. And when I got here, obviously I didn't know what to expect, but I could tell the first time I landed here, it was raining. I'm like, oh my God, I was probably expecting like snow or something. But obviously coming from Africa, you don't know what to expect when you come like to Europe,
Yeah.
But what I did is when I got here, I started thinking about what I wanted to do and things that I really cared about. And that's how I ended up getting to a course to do film and communication. But before that, my mom was not happy about it. African parents, you're either going to be a doctor, a lawyer, or you're going to be an accountant.
Of course.
Yeah, but I just kind of looked at my life and my life experience because I was in Africa living around for a few years. I was like, I need to do something that I was really excited about, that I felt like I would be looking forward to doing the next day if I woke up and I'm going to college or if I'm going to work, do that one thing. So I chose storytelling because I remember growing up, I've always loved stories. I remember as a kid, I watched a lot of Tom and Jerry, Adventures of Tintin. And I remember because we had an old television set, those ones from back in the 80s, the ones with the
but
we had one. Yeah, we had one that was broken that was behind our house. So I remember I used to take my brothers and sisters at the back of the house when my parents had gone to work. And then the inside part of the TV was not there. So I would just go through the back and just go there and pretend to be like a news anchor or just act out some scenes I'd seen on TV. And I remember it used to be a good laugh. And when I got here, I decided I wanted to do film storytelling. And ever since I started, I've shot over 250 music videos. I've shot about 3-4 documentaries, and I recently got involved in in a film that I produced, and I was playing the protagonist. I can do a bit of acting sometimes.
Same.
And about 2 years ago, that's when I decided to create Scotland's first black superhero comic book.
Wow. Wow. Okay,
Yeah.
so we're gonna get into this. So the most important question basically is what was that moment, you know what I mean, that eureka moment that you decided you was gonna make the first black superhero from Scotland, and what was the whole thinking behind that?
I remember living in Scotland. Obviously, when you move to Africa and you come to this in Europe or in the Western world, you don't know what to expect. So I was, in your head as a kid, you're like, you're going to this, you're going to Europe, it's like the promised land, you know what I mean? So when I got here, I reunited my family. I started making good friends in Scotland. I met some really cool people at college and when I was at uni. But at the same time, I was facing like high levels of racism. Like you could go to a shop and they could have a security guy following you around as if you're not going to be able to pay for something, right?
Yeah.
One time I took my car in an MOT and they gave me this new Mercedes. It was like a 2017 that just came out. They gave it to me. I was like, are you guys sure? So I took it for a week, but my car was being fixed. And then I was driving that Mercedes for a week, but I got stopped by the police 10 times, and 5 times were the same police officers.
Wow.
And I was like, can you not just live in the UK or in this world and just have what you want, things that you worked for? So I started feeling a little bit like, do I really belong here? And I started, we also had people throwing like stones at houses, calling us names. And I was like, one time I was doing this gig. It was this big festival called Electric Fields. When I go back home later that night, I was like, what if I created a superhero? Because obviously I was thinking, how can I create a film that would have all these things I want to highlight? But because of budgets, guys, as filmmakers, it's not easy to get a budget for a film.
Of course.
Yeah, I was like, if I created a comic book and created a black superhero and just face all these things that I have experienced in Scotland and put them in that story and project them there, and also show in the same story how I want the world to be, and how I wish the world to be, and also highlighting stories where I come from, I think that would be a really great start. It was like 3:00 in the morning. The next day I was like, yes, I'm going to do it. But the whole thing really started when I watched Black Panther. I remember that night I went back home and I started writing the script non-stop.
Wow.
3 hours later, I had a script for the first issue.
Wow.
Crazy.
Wow. Isaac, you want to jump in, yeah?
I was gonna say, for the people that are not aware of your comics and stuff like that, just give us a little bit. Tell us about the comic itself, the Beat of Wars. Just tell us about it.
So Beats of War, it's based on this character that comes from his planet that is being attacked by robot invaders, and then he comes to Earth to seek for help. Because obviously there's a connection that this character, that his mother is from Earth, and then he thinks humans may have answers to solve the problem they have on their planet. So his journey involves him coming from that planet and coming to Earth, and then trying to figure out how humans live, because it's his first time being on Earth. So I feel like having that character that represents immigrants who come from another country and come and start experiencing things in a new country, it could represent me in a sort of a metaphorical way, or in a sort of a mythology. Yes. So I feel like that character could stand for me. So the character comes from there and then comes to Earth and he's seeking for answers, and this character still represents us. We're not origin from the UK, we're not born here in the UK, so it stands for people who move to a new country. So that's sort of the story where I'm taking it.
That's really a good concept, isn't it?
It's a very good concept, and I like that as well. I even like the way he's telling it as well. The energy, the life is there. Like, I want to get this comic. I want to see more.
Don't worry. Etienne will send you copies hard. Trust me, he will send you. Right. So obviously it sounds like you just had that Ryuka moment, and obviously then wrote the script, and then obviously put the comic out. But it's not as simple as that. Obviously, you know what I mean? There's a lot of work that goes into it. So tell us the process of having to put together a comic right down to the finishing thing in your hand.
So the comic book started in a way that I was trying to get some friends here in Glasgow. So all I always want is to cooperate with artists that are really good. But the problem is finding the right people that are as passionate as you, and they're not going to judge you, but they'll give you feedback to help you, bring the project to life. So it took me some like 5 months trying to look for someone who can come on board, who understands comics, who's had experience. So one time I put a post on Facebook, but no one responded for like 5 weeks. And finally, my lecturer from college responded, is like, there's a guy who went to college and has done comic books. I think you guys should talk, called Gary. And then from there, I arranged a meeting to go and meet Gary. But what I did before I met Gary, I had created a sketch of the characters, of how I wanted the character to look like, the colors, what he stands for, the planet where he comes from. So I had all these sketches and ideas and a script to show him. So when we met for coffee, I was like, dude, let me just say that I'm not crazy. When I tell you all these stories and things I'm trying to create, I'm not crazy. I'm just, passionate, and I feel like I have something to say. It's like film. If you're creating a film, you need to have something to say. What are you trying to convey to the audience? And I felt like my frustrations and the things that I was going through, I felt like I could express that in the comic book. So when I met him, he was the right guy, and he just helped me elevate the script to the next level. Because when I wrote the script, it was more like a screenplay. And comic books are written differently. You have to write it in a way so that the artist can understand what to draw, just so he can see your imagination. So what I did, I got a lot of references online of what I wanted, the costumes to the planet. By the way, the planet represents where we come from, as immigrants. Also, it can be Congo, it can be South Africa, it can be someone who comes from Pakistan but moves to a new country. So that's where the planet represents. And before you know it, we had it. It took us about 18 months to get the project going. I worked my ass off to just kind of, make money and pay for it, but it was worth it in the end.
Wow.
Absolutely.
So you got the next question, Isaac?
So what was the idea and concept behind creating Beats of War? Wait,
the idea in was is like the storyline, or just for me, beats is like beats from music, right?
Yeah.
So, and then war is this sort of mise-en-scène, like things the character is trying to stop, injustices and all that stuff in community. But beat stands for music because the character comes from a planet that has no music. And reasons why I wanted to incorporate music with the character is because when I go into festivals or clubs or parties, you see how music brings people together. Like, doesn't matter if you're black, white, Asian. When there's a good song playing, everybody's just dancing and in love, and no one is judging each other. I mean, have you not been to clubs? People in the UK are dancing some Afrobeat right now, and when I see them, I'm like, yo, this is it. This is the kind of thing we need right here. It's no one is judging you. People are just following the art, and they're connecting with the sounds and everybody's things that people are trying to put out there. And I feel like music had to play a part in that. So the character comes from a planet that has no music and finds music, and he's trying to figure out what is that sound. And then in return, he's also fighting crime and trying to find answers to his planet. So yeah.
Same. How has been the challenges, actually, the challenges of distributing the because obviously you're a new guy, and I know in any field or any industry, when you first come into any industry, trying to get your product out there is a bit of a difficult task. So how has that been for you, trying to distribute your comic into the hands of the public?
So for me, what I've started thinking, that I've got this concept. I've watched this guy called Gary. He's like a marketing guru. You probably come across him. I can't pronounce his second name. Yes, and sometimes I went when I was about to release the comic book, I had this mindset. I was like, no one cares about me because they don't know me. No one knows the story. So you can't just get a book and put it out there and expect people from heaven to just start buying your book. So what I did this concept where I started giving out free comic books. I started off with people, and I asked people to take pictures, if they they enjoyed reading the comic book. And you have no idea how the response was. People started sending me pictures after they read it, because some people were like, oh, this is not what we expected. Is this in Glasgow? So I sent to film studios, I sent to charity organizations, and I sent it to different places. And you know what happened after that? Most people who read it, they offered to pay me, and they even offered to buy more copies. And sometimes they even paid me more money as a donation to the next issue. So that's how I've kind of gone with the concept, because these days you can just say that, okay, I've produced a film or I've produced a book, but when people don't know something or don't know the writer or someone behind it, they're not quite sure until they read the story. So what I did like over 500 copies, free giveaways, and all those 500 copies have turned into more sales, more workshops, and people are just, are loving the stories, and I'm getting emails from parents and messages, and they're like loving how it's inspiring for the kids to see people of color doing comic books like this, and these kids can see themselves as a superhero, and this is something uplifting and inspiring for the kids, and this is what it stands for, and that's how I've been going about it, man. Like, it's just been organic. I've just been sending to people, and people pay for it and buy more, and that's it.
Wow.
And I've sold over 3,000 copies now.
Jeez.
And still going up.
That is brilliant.
Jeez. Nah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. It's almost like one of them things where, like you've kind of got to lose to make, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you got to lose. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And can I say, guys, we have some connections to Africa somehow, or whatever we come from. And I feel like no one can tell the story of where you come from better than you.
Of course.
And I feel like, we've got a lot of black characters in different universes like Marvel and DC, but we don't have a lot of representation in those universes. Yeah. So I wanted to create a character that this is from the UK, Scotland. When you look at exterior photography in the comic book, this is where the story is taking place, and I always made sure that I put a bit of history of where I live, so that people from this Glasgow or the UK can connect with some characters, so it was really important for me.
Wow. Isaac, you got a next question?
My question is, what inspires you the most to keep doing what you're doing, to keep putting up content like this, to keep making comments? What is your greatest motivator?
I feel like storyline. I feel like changing, with these things that have been going on with Black Lives Matter movements and how there's a lot of injustices in the world, class and discrimination. I feel like stories, film and literature and whatever medium is the way to change the world indirectly, because I feel like if you can inspire people through storytelling, stories that are the only way you can inspire people for a better future generation. Because if kids, like, for example, I've had Zoom workshops and kids don't understand what these Black Lives movements were about, or don't understand these black characters. But when you start inspiring them and showing them how awesome these characters are, and how they're also fighting for community, and they've got friends of different colors as well, you're changing their minds and perceptions, and that builds a better future. And I feel like me telling these stories, I've just got this fire burning within, and I feel like inspiring the world. It's one of the greatest legacies to leave behind for a better future generation.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, like, let's talk about it now. I mean, like, dear on me. I mean, like, getting a product created and developed is one thing. Getting it to the public is another thing. But having the media support it, having press, having the mainstream starting to take notice to what you're doing, that's a whole different level. So I was surprised when I first came across it. That's the thing, is basically, is like when I saw a little bit what you're doing, basically, but I wasn't sure what was going on. But I started to take notice of when I saw it was on the BBC, and you started to be all in these media things. Was you surprised by that response?
When I was about to release it on the 20th of July, I was so scared. But you know what? I was like, I just fear. I mean, there's greatness beyond fear. I watched this video of Will Smith saying that, and then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna release and see what happens. And I didn't know that was gonna happen. And when it happened, I was like, okay. And by the way, you inspired me in some way, because you came to the studio and you spoke to me sometime, and I was like, this guy's making sense. Like, make something that it stands on itself. There's some words you spoke, and then I was like, you kept giving me that energy and the fire that I needed to kind of like have this project going. Because when you came to the studio, I did not tell you about the comic book, but it was happening. But I was like, this guy, he's on the same wavelength, man. Like, you inspired me in some way, and that helped me to release it comfortable. I was like, sometimes you just gotta put it out there. Like you did your movie Blacks Can't Swim.
Yeah.
I mean, you put it out there and you see how people are responding to it, because people can connect with the story, they can relate to the story. And if it's something that I feel like I put my heart to it and I feel I connect with it, and I put characters that I'm connected with and this seat where I'm connected with, I feel like people as well are able to connect with it. And when the media started reacting like that, I was like, yes, this is what I was not expecting it, but yes, the universe is on my side.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So Isaac, you got another question?
Um, I'm just trying to find out how to word this question. Um, so yeah, you see with the comic and everything, with the scenery and everything, have you ever had the thought to turn this one day into like a movie?
I was thinking that as well. I was
Like that.
thinking that.
You know, I've got some film studios that called me about it,
Don't
but
lie.
yeah,
Are you
I'm not gonna
joking?
mention anything.
Oh
Yeah,
my days! Are you drunk? What?
yeah.
Okay. Have you
they
just
they
let
call
something
me
out?
to
Have you
like,
just let something out the bag, or was you supposed to say that? Because that's no small thing, fam.
That's not
yeah,
sports.
Right.
yeah.
Okay. Tell us what. Tell us what you can tell us anyway about that.
So
Yeah, yeah.
basically, what they wanted to establish contact and see where the story goes, and obviously nothing on paper yet. But my dream is to turn this into a film, because imagine having a character that is based here in the UK, and the stories are taking place on these streets that and can connect with, and highlighting these injustices that we face every day. I think that would be freaking awesome. And really creating this story, I wanted it to be an animation and a film in future, because we have issue 2, 3, 4, 5 coming, and they are fire. And I'm not playing. I'm not scared of these big organizations who are dropping comic books. I'm just looking at the story, my
Yeah.
story,
Yeah.
and I feel like I just wanted to put out something different, something that is me, that I'm connected with. And yeah, hopefully in future it's going to happen. The films
Same.
will be made. Yeah.
Wow. So okay. So I'm gonna drop something, yeah, basically, because I've noticed a little something as well. Because the
Yeah.
whole theme of this podcast series is called Changing Times Podcast, and the reason
Yeah.
why it was created by an organization called Storm. And Storm, Marie came to see you at your studio. Remember Marie?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
I
This is
remember it.
it's her organization that started this podcast series and stuff like that. And the reason behind it was because basically, obviously, because of the changing times, the environment, the lockdown, and everything, is to inspire people to kind of like still
Mhm.
carry on to do things, to take the initiative, to still carry on and stuff like that. But do you think basically, because of these changing times, that there was this window of opportunity for people and for projects like Blacks Can't Swim and for Beats of War to happen, where if it's a couple of years ago, we probably wouldn't have even been heard. What's your opinion on that?
I feel like, yeah, I think like timing is about, it's everything in everything that you do. I think I feel like with all these times of these protests and the comic book coming back, your film coming out, I feel like obviously the world was crying, and it was the perfect time to release it. And can I just say that before I started doing the comic book, I wasn't thinking about, I didn't know this was gonna happen. So I was just following the vibes and just following my intuition to do it.
Of
And I feel
course.
like you say, timing is everything. Sometimes you release something at the right time. When people are hungry for it, that's when it will blow up like that. And I feel like, yeah, timing is everything, man. And I mean, inspiring people during these times. People have a lot of questions. Kids have a lot of questions, especially because kids are the future of our world. So if you can inspire them, tell these stories, especially during confusing times, and you know how the media is, they always give you negative information. There's no news company that always say, this is what's happening. We're in lockdown and things are going well here and here, and they never report that.
Yeah.
So through stories, I think, and the right timing is the perfect thing for things that you do, I think. Yeah.
Seen. Okay, Isaac, you got another next question?
So you've already spoke about the stuff that was happening when you was driving and stuff like that. Tell us a bit more about growing up in Scotland. It's like someone like us growing up in Scotland. Like, how is it like the experience?
Yeah.
I feel like
That's a good one, actually. Good question.
I think growing in Scotland is quite challenging, man. Like, cause going to college and then I was in class. I think I was the only black guy in class, and it was like a class of like 25 in college when I was doing the NEC course, and I always felt like I didn't understand first the accent, the Scottish accent. It took me time to understand how they spoke, but also just opening up to make friends was really hard. The first time, because of obviously culture differences, and for some time I felt like I was not fitting it, and when I started experiencing these things, they started giving me some sort of stress. And I had some friends as well who are my friends and who reacted differently in things like with racism, who did not even fit properly in college, and they either go in trouble and go locked up. But I was like, I needed to do something that made me feel excited to wake up every morning and not look at what's stressing me around, and just trying to be as positive as possible. It's always a challenge, man. Like even in Glasgow, just, you know, you can just be walking down the street and something random happens. But what I can say is that Glasgow and in Scotland in general, people are really friendly, you know, but there's always things that makes you question who you are. Like you can get random people telling you, oh, go back to Africa. Like some people like, oh, so which is some people don't even know that Africa is a continent, and they ask you these weird questions. They want to tie your hair. So there's a lot of things that are a bit awkward, and you have to just kind of accept these things and live in society. But what I've done for me, I've tried to always be positive. I mean, Rex can tell you that. Like my energy is always like, you know, like no bad vibes. Like if I make friends with somebody and I feel like we're not on the same, you know, energy wave, I just, you know, take them off and try and be as positive, because the world is crazy. So I try and be as positive, motivate myself, and know that living in Scotland and just having this second opportunity to life and many opportunities, a lot of kids in Africa can't get these opportunities easily, you know. So I try to be as, you know, as grateful as possible every morning when I wake up. I just say my gratitude, and, you know, and it keeps me going. You know, there's challenges here, but I keep going. And when I started creating films and shooting stuff, that's when I started feeling that, you know, I fit in community, because storytelling, you meet people, you connect with people who inspire and who want to work with you, want to take you to the next level, and you make friends. And I feel like that was like my escape, you know, filmmaking and storytelling.
That's good. Okay, so we're down with the final question now, and basically it's just like really some advice for the younger self, some advice for younger people that are looking to do something. Maybe someone that wants to do a comic, maybe someone that wants to get into film or get into any kind of thing, but they find it difficult. What would be your advice, seeing as you've kind of grown up through challenges and stuff? What would be your advice to the younger generation in order to inspire them?
I feel like young people should just, I mean, like, if you have an idea, and however stupid it sounds, like, and if you know it's genuinely good, just go for it, and always find the right positive people to surround yourself with. And if you're struggling, ask for help. I feel like that's the easiest thing. You could pick up a phone call or speak to your dad or speak to somebody in school. You know, look for the right people who can help you bring what you want to do to life, and really stay positive and go for it. You know, the world is yours. And, you know, I mean, sometimes I take a plane, and when I'm going to America, and I just sometimes ask myself how this plane takes off from Heathrow and flies for 8 hours to New York, and you wonder, this is a human brain, you know? So we've got so much potential as humans. So I would say that if you have an idea, it may sound stupid as that, but just go for it. Find the right people to work with it, with your idea, and stay motivated and positive as always.
Absolutely. Any final questions, Isaac?
Nah, that just blew me with the whole plane thing, bro. That's actually wow, man. I'm actually gonna keep that in, you know. That was very needed. But thank you very much. Well, your story is mad, like sick, and it's gonna inspire hella people, youngers, even older people than you, man. Just keep it up. 100%.
Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Appreciate the time.
So thank you very much, Isaac, for joining us on the podcast. And thank you, sir, Etienne. That sounds good, Sir Etienne, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us. And man, that's some next level thing, you know. I mean, like, you're talking about what the possibilities, but I ain't gonna get gassed too much, man. But thank you for joining us on the show, you know what I mean, and stuff, and for sharing your inspirations and all your ideas and your history and stuff like that. You know what I mean? This is the final podcast for the year, and it's a good person to round us up with, basically. So thank you again very much, sir, for taking the shot, and good luck, man.
Yeah, appreciate it, man.
Good luck, man.
You two guys, it was good chatting with you guys, and positive vibes anyway.
Absolutely, man. So thank you very much, sir, and we'll speak soon.
Speak soon. Bye.
All right, take care. All right, bye.
Bye.